Hello and welcome. My pronouns are Viva, Vis, and you are listening to Outcast. So, I don't know if you noticed, but last week I did not introduce myself with a name and only my pronouns. And that's what I'm going to talk about this week, that being my name. So, for most of my life, I obviously had my dead name, which was pretty much exclusively feminine name, starting with a And even as a kid, before I knew I was genderqueer, I always hated the name. I didn't know why. And every other name I tried as a kid, where I insisted people call me that, they were also usually other femme names. As a teenager, I also always tried out other femme names on the internet, and a lot of them felt good, but none of them felt right, like my name. Probably also because I thought, changing my name would not be a possibility at all. And then when I came out to myself as genderqueer, I thought, oh, this is why I hated my dead name, and now I can change it. Well, my dead name doesn't have a masculine version, so I couldn't turn it into a gender-neutral thing. So I went to a parent and asked if they had a masculine name for me in case I would have been assigned male at birth, which I could have turned into a gender-neutral name, but they didn't, so that was an option either. And then I didn't know what I should name myself, and I didn't really know where to look for names, because back in 2017, for some reason, I only knew 10 gender-neutral names. Back then I also didn't feel comfortable with something that deviated a whole bunch from my dead name. I mean, kinda does, but it's still the same first letter as well. What I did was I went on Reddit, I believe, and asked other genderqueer people how they chose their name. And a lot of them said, well, I'm just going by the first letter of my dead name. And that's when I became. So basically what I did was I jumped on the first possible option, which in hindsight was a mistake. I did not take my time with finding a name. I did not try any out. I was just I'm now, and that was that. And another reason I didn't really go for anything more out there was also because I was still at school, and I already wasn't popular at school. Coming out as genderqueer made me less popular, so I didn't want to be even less popular by choosing a name that's kind of weird, so I just stuck with something simple. And I legally changed my name in 2018, so almost 4 years ago. And I also didn't have the confidence to choose a name that was gender neutral to feminine, because I guess I wanted to very, very much assert that I'm definitely not a woman and not feminine. So I chose one that was gender neutral with a masculine lean. And I legally changed it in 2018. I have been using it for almost a year before then. Now for maybe 4.5 years. And I would be lying if I said that I never found other names that I thought were absolutely cool, would have been very cool for me. And also I would have been lying if I said that if I had the chance to change my name again, I wouldn't do it. But I pushed that thought very far back into my brain, because I knew that changing my name again wasn't an option, because I already done it once and you can't really do it twice. And I didn't want to go through the changing your gender marker and name law, because for a long time they only had binary gender markers and whatever, so I was waiting for another law, which I didn't think would happen for a long time. But the new government in Germany is talking about making self-ID possible, which means I could finally change my gender marker, but I also could change my name again. And when I first heard about this, I kind of had a name crisis. I was wow, now all those thoughts I had for the last maybe 3 years have become reality. Now I was actually confronted with the possibility to be able to change my name again. I was wow, what do I do now? And I have decided that I will change my name again, but at this time I will take my time with it. I will make a list, look for names more actively, and try out names. Right now I already pretty much have one in mind, but as I said, I'm going to take my time, and I'm not going to say the name on here yet, but I have one that I'm really vibing with, and I've been trying it out for about a month, on the internet, on Discord servers and stuff, and it feels really good. And it's just a weird name, I'm the kind of person who could have a weird name, probably also because I'm autistic and I'm just that kind of person. who could just have a weird name, and like certain requirements have for a new name are, well, it shouldn't be longer than like 2 syllables, because otherwise people would probably just turn it into a weird nickname that I didn't ask for. I don't want a name that starts or ends with an L, because my last name starts with an L. I need a name that works well in both English and German, because if I have a name that's very English, for example, like, I don't know, River, many Germans might not know how to pronounce it when they first read it, and I don't want people to like struggle with it all the time, and like the other way around as well. And I also want a name that's simple. Like, I don't want a name that in either country people just don't know how to say it or spell it. So yeah, the name I do have in mind pretty much fits all the criteria and just causes me so much gender euphoria. But again, I am taking it slow. I give it a few months, maybe there will be other names on my list, or maybe that will still be the only one, and then that might be my new name. But yes, I will be changing my name, definitely, once again, and that's all I can say for this topic. That's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode or even the entire podcast, why don't you recommend it to a friend or share it on social media? Or you can also support me on Patreon. My Patreon is patreon.com/out_castpod. I am also out_castpod on Twitter and Instagram. If you would like to send me a voice message, you can do so with the link in the description of this episode. And until next time, stay safe.